He can tear phone books in half and bend wrenches and hammers. What do you think they would look like if they're able to perform those feats? Probably not 5'6" and 168 pounds would be my guess, right? This is awesome. Let's do this. Considered one of the world's strongest men, pound for pound. Believe it or not, Dennis Rodgers weighed like 80 pounds or less when he entered high school. In fact, he was so tiny, he got put in a special education gym and was thought not to be able to achieve big things physically. But as with all superheroes, something changed in the perception of who he was back in the early 70s, and he saw a program about a man who could rip a deck of cards in half. Being inspired by that catalyst, he went and picked up a deck of cards and he tore it apart on his first attempt. What? Remember, 80 pounds or less at this time. Didn't do anything. That was one of the first times he realized what he was truly capable of. Since then, not only has Dennis become a world arm wrestling champion, but he's also become the Grand Master Strongman, capable of bending steel hammers, wrenches, and stopping aircraft from taking off with his bare hands. Let's keep it real though, Dennis isn't the only one in the world that can bend steel. But what makes us perform a double take is his physique. His physique doesn't look like Chris Bumstead. His physique doesn't look like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. It looks average at best. He's just under 170 pounds and has the muscle mass of a fit, regular human being. Yet, when it's time to put the pedal to the metal, he's bending things that you just didn't think could be bent. Might even be you. Being featured on a number of popular TV shows like The Oprah Winfrey Show, Ripley's Believe It or Not, which I actually saw him on when I was a kid, David Letterman's Late Show, and Stan Lee's Superhumans, which I also saw when I was a kid. If you saw that show also with Dennis on Stan Lee's Superhumans, comment down below. Superhumans, he left the audiences completely baffled. It just didn't make sense. It almost seemed like out of a comic book or some type of anime, how that physique was able to perform those insane feats of strength. It just didn't make sense. However, his body can generate over 1,000 pounds of force, more than a person several times his size. And he's been hooked up to machines that have proven that his fast twitch type 2A muscle fibers, the acceleration in his muscles, help Dennis perform all these crazy freaking tricks. Cue in the iso chain. Let's throw into the fact that he's able to activate more of his muscle fibers than the average human being, making him stronger than people with much larger muscles. Now, you know this man was into overcoming isometric training, because right now, with what we've known the last 3 to 4 minutes, those are all the benefits of training in the overcoming isometric training style. Let's fast forward the clock, because he's bent hundreds of steel tools and rods. He's torn apart phone books, stopped 4 Harley-Davidson motorcycles at full power, and even stopped 2 United States Air Force T-34 aircrafts from taking off. Those feats have made him pound for pound the world's strongest man at the time. I know I have a gift, and I believe we're all given gifts to use to help others, said Rodgers. He's what they call an old-time strongman. So what we've learned with Alexander Zass so far is that these guys were the real deal. They didn't just build muscle for show. Not to say that our current weightlifters of today are just for show, but I challenge them to be able to pull off some of the feats that these types of strongmen were able to perform. And by the way, these guys, again, weren't really hulking 340-pound masses of muscle. Even Alexander Zass didn't look like that. There's something to be said in the style of training that we perform consistently. Dennis knows that the fastest way to maximum strength is training at your highest possible level of resistance. In the weightlifting world, that means low reps, 1 to 5. All of the old-time strongmen like Dennis train not only with their basic implements in low reps, but also just maximal level specific work or specific feats of performance. In addition to what we've talked about with Dennis so far, here's a quick montage because we can talk about it, but let's just let the overcoming isometric training do the talking. Thanks guys for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to check out our other famous isometric lifters in our isometric lifter playlist, which you can find right here, and I will see you soon.